Hello, dear friends. I'm Rosa. How are you today? Today we continue our journey through the teaching of the Shema. O Israel. The Israel of God. When we were in Jerusalem, standing before the western wall, we witnessed voices raising in fervent prayer, crying out the Shema with deep reverence, declaring their steadfast devotion to Yahweh, God alone. This sacred proclamation has echoed through time, declaring their unwavering monotheistic faith in the one God, Yahweh. The Shema is also prayed and declared in synagogues. Voices would rise in unified prayer, affirming Adonai as their one God alone. Sometimes we also see the Shema prayed and declared in homes. They would face the historic site where the temple once stood, a reminder of God's covenant with them. They would lift up their voices in one unified prayer, Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. The Shema begins with Hear, O Israel. Last week, we explored the significance of the word hear. We discovered that today's church is in crisis because the Shema is absent from our prayers and worship. Well, today we want to reflect on this phrase, O Israel. One time in a Bible study session, I asked the group this question. When you see the word Israel in the Shema, what comes to your mind? Well, they tell me that Israel reminds them of ancient Israelites wandering through the desert, receiving the Shema through Moses. I then asked them, it says, O Israel, so does the Shema apply to us? There was silence. I then asked, are you Israel? Some answered no. So I asked, if we are not Israel, so how does the Shema apply to us? One of them responded sharply, you said that Jesus quoted this verse in the New Testament, so it applies to us too. I then asked again, so are you Israel? In one voice, they answered no. I said, not so fast. Let's look at the verse in Mark chapter 12, verse 29. Jesus himself declares that this is the most important commandment. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Well, clearly Jesus was quoting directly from Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. Yet notice, Jesus didn't replace the word Israel with believers or my disciples. He continued to address O Israel. So this raises a vital question. If the Shema applies to us also, are we Israel or are we not? What is your answer to this question? This is a question that every Christian needs to answer for themselves. We must be clear about the answer to this fundamental question so that we know how to respond with unwavering and immediate obedience to this most important commandment of the Shema. Some people believe that the Shema applies only to the Jewish people since they're ethnically the Israelites. After all, who is called to hear? O Israel! But then, who is Israel? Does Israel include the followers of Jesus? Does Israel include the church? Let's seek the answers from the Bible. The word Israel occurs approximately 2,500 times in the Bible, with 75 occurrences in the New Testament. Let's look at Galatians 6:16. And all those who follow this rule, peace and mercy be on them, and on the Israel of God. These are the closing words of Paul's letter to the Galatian churches. How does Paul refer to them? He calls them the Israel of God. This is something we need to meditate on. The church is called the Israel of God. Do we know that we too are the Israel of God? How did we become the Israel of God? Let's turn to another passage by Paul. Romans chapter 9, verse 6. For not all who are descended from Israel belong to Israel. There's deep spiritual riches to unpack here, and today we will just focus on one key insight. Here, Paul gives a clear definition of Israel. He makes a distinction that being physically descended from Israel does not automatically mean one belongs to Israel. So what is Paul saying? There is more to being Israel. There is a true Israel. Many of the physical descendants of Israel were cut off because of unbelief, and only a faithful remnant remained. So in God's eyes, not all who are born Israelites belong to the true Israel. They may carry the name Israel, but without loyalty and faithfulness to God, they are not part of the true Israel. This is a core issue. Not all ethnic Israel is true Israel. There's the deeper level, the spiritual dimension. True Israel is marked by faith, not just by bloodline. So who belongs to the true Israel? It's a matter of the heart, of allegiance to Yahweh God, and ultimately this leads to our salvation. In Paul's teaching, as well as in the New Testament, if you are truly saved, a genuine believer, you are considered an Israelite in the spiritual sense. Paul explains this ever more clearly in Romans chapter 2, verses 28 to 29. For no one is a Jew who is merely one outwardly, nor is circumcision outward and physical, but a Jew is one inwardly. And circumcision is a matter of the heart, by the Spirit, not by the letter. So, not all Jews are true Jews. Salvation has to do with our being circumcised in heart by the Spirit of God. This was already true in the Old Testament times. So true circumcision is not performed in the flesh, but in the heart by God's Spirit. Inwardly, we are a Jew, a true Israelite, if we are circumcised in the heart through faith in Christ. So the God of Israel is my God precisely because through faith in Christ, through baptism united with Christ, spiritually I am an Israelite, not ethnically or externally, but inwardly I am an Israelite. So in Christ, all believers, Jews and Gentiles alike, are united in one body. We belong to what Paul calls the Israel of God. Tragically, this truth has been lost or misunderstood in today's church. We need to bring this truth back into the church. In Romans chapter 11, Paul teaches that the Gentile believers are grafted into the olive tree, into God's covenant people. So alongside the faithful Jews, we all form one body under the new covenant, the new creation, the church, the true Israel. Here's the astonishing truth. The church is the Israel of God. The church is the continuation of Israel. We are the international Israel of God. So as we close, let us diligently bring the Shema back to our churches. Hear, O Israel. Let our church make our allegiance in one voice. Yahweh our God, Yahweh is one.
Shema Israel, Shema Israel, Shema Israel, Shema Israel.
I'm Rosa, and I look forward to seeing you next Sunday. Shalom, and may Yahweh our God bless your church this coming Sunday through the Shema prayer.